You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
21-year-old woman is found deceased after trying to rob people inside of a car in Belmont Cragen neighborhood Monday night. Chicago police stated that a woman entered the vehicle on the 5200 block of West Montana Street at Laramie Avenue at around 1 p.m. in a robbery attempt. She was inside of a car when she had her life taken by way of injuries to the shoulder, back, and hand. Video also showed that the woman was then thrown to the intersection. People later came to help before police arrived. That woman was taken to Advocate, Illinois Masonic Medical Center, where she was pronounced deceased. A friend of the victim stated that the woman was 7 months pregnant with her first child. Family and close friends also identified the victim as 21-year-old Genesis Escobar. It was also stated that she was pulled directly out of the vehicle and cash was thrown on top of her. Friends of the young woman also stated that they were awakened by shots that went off, and when they checked, they were shocked to see what was going on. Quote, they looked out of the window and seen that the vehicle, someone opened the driver door, walked around the vehicle, pulled out the body, and drove off. My heart is broken in pieces. She was also 7 months pregnant with her first baby girl. I don't care how much trouble you're in. I feel that for a person to do that to someone doesn't have a heart. So I see I have to start giving more examples of the things that I've stated, correct? It wasn't that long ago that I told you guys that, hey, the moment in time that women out here decide that they don't want to focus on the negative things that other women and young girls are out here doing, that the same things that they complained about men doing is going to soon enough start happening. So now your daughters are running amok out here, being 7 months pregnant, deciding that, hey, I think I want to start committing crimes. As I stated to people before, a lot of women claim that, hey, we are great mothers, we're this, we're that, and the third, and, that we really care about our kids. I don't see any caring about the kids when it comes to this example here. This woman is 7 months pregnant, which means that she has a baby bump that more than likely you can obviously see. And she decided to go out in the dead of night and try to rob people. Now, this more than likely isn't some scenario where it was like, okay, well, I got to figure out on if I'm going to really do this or if I'm going to be out on the street. Nah, she did this because she more than likely has been doing this for a very long time. She's comfortable with doing this. Now, I've heard of women in certain instances like this making money a variety of different ways. This is not one of them. This right here, this is not one of them. To go out here as a woman, remember how everybody said it's my body, my choice, right? But yet the two people that don't have any type of a say so is basically the father and the child. So this woman went out there, my body, my choice, and decided to commit a crime and ended up not only losing her life, but the life of the child. And the main thing that I always ask of women is, where are the women in these communities to step in and start talking to these young girls, taking care of these young girls, taking care of these young children? I thought it took a village to raise a child, because obviously she was still a child to a certain extent mentally, even though they like to say that women mentally progress earlier than men. Obviously not here, because she's doing the same things as guys on the streets are doing. So obviously she ain't really progressed that far, on top of the fact that she decided to get pregnant at a young age. Irresponsible, irresponsible, irresponsible. And then the main thing that I talk about on this channel is the lack of accountability, responsibility, and acceptance for one's own actions that put them directly in the detrimental, compromising position that they're in. Right. So one of the friends of the family or neighbor basically stated, I don't care how much trouble you're in. I feel that for a person to do that to someone doesn't have a heart. Ma'am, at the end of the day, she didn't have a heart for that child. Her actions led her down this path. She decided on her own accord that this is what she wanted to do, 7 months pregnant. For me, as a guy, I cannot feel sorry for women out here that put themselves and the lives of their children in these type of positions, and then people are talking about, oh, give this person grace, give this person sympathy. What was the grace and sympathy for that child? She could have did anything else in the world. There are tons of programs out here to help out women who are pregnant, soon to be pregnant, women who are mothers, all of that. There are tons of programs out here. It is inexcusable for a woman to be 7 months pregnant and deciding to go out here and commit crimes that will inevitably end your life. We've seen this happen with guys, right? We see what happens when guys they decide that, hey, I don't really got no money. I need to figure out something. Let me go out here and commit some type of crime so that I can get a quick lick, right? And then what inevitably ends up happening? They're in jail. They're in prison. They might be in a hospital in a coma because of whatever wounds they suffered, or they're in a morgue. All of those outcomes are negative. So yet again, I'm a little bit confused and baffled as to why it is that women, quote unquote, who mature faster than boys, faster than men, I'm a little bit confused of why women are out here committing crimes, knowing that we already put the blueprint out here. We gave you the blueprint on what is going to happen. You're going to mess up and you're going to find out. She found out. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But at the end of the day, the real victim in this whole situation is that child, because that child didn't even get a chance. The mother didn't even want to give that child a chance. The family of that young woman didn't even want to give that child a chance. This is literally a failure all the way around. All the way around. The women in the community were supposed to help her and benefit her as a brand new mother. The women of her family, her herself. That's crazy. That's 1,000% crazy. And let me just list this because I know how some people like to give. It's like, oh, this is unfair. She didn't get pregnant by herself. What about the father? You know what? You're right. You're right. But the problem with that is, at the end of the day, a man does not control a woman's body. A woman controls her body. My body, my choice. So even if the father of the child, which I don't know where he is, I don't know if he was or not, right? Because they didn't mention him. Because every single time they talk about stories like this or women, they put them in the light of being single mothers. So that's what I'm going to stay focused on, right? So even if the father is there or not, that is her body, right? That is her baby, right? There's nothing a man can sit up there and do to stop her from doing what it is that she wants to do. At the end of the day, no matter what a man says, a woman is still going to do whatever it is that she wants to do. So, yet again, I'm not really trying to hear nothing about the father of the child. I'm not really trying to hear nothing about whoever her father actually is in real life. I don't even care because she's 21, she's grown, she decided to do this. I've seen far too many times where you have kids that have both parents in a house. They have the parents are married, the parents are religious, or they're working, or they're highly educated, and the kids want to do the opposite. So, irregardless of whatever people are going to say about this is why fathers are needed, or what was the father of the child, a woman is going to do whatever a woman is going to do. Quote unquote, my body, my choice. Women don't want to listen to men. They don't want leadership from men. They don't want men to be the head. Too many women out here feel that they can do it all by themselves. This is where that leads you. This is what that independentness looks like. She's out here struggling. She's out here on the streets committing crimes, breaking laws, along with being 7 months pregnant. That's what that looks like. That's like I said, this is overall, this is ridiculous. And too many times I told y'all before, beyond anything else that I talk about, I advocate for the kids because 9 times out of 10, who else is doing it? Who else is trying to speak up and speak out for these kids directly out here who don't got a voice? That little child, the 7 month old, didn't have no voice. Who's going to advocate and speak for that baby? Nobody. Nobody did. That's why what happened happened. If the women, like I said before, if the women in these communities that always talk about all this independence, doing it by themselves and all this, if all of that whole situation ceased to exist, more than likely her outcome would have been different. Because women would have stepped in, saw that she was struggling, and basically helped her out. The women in her family would have stepped in, saw that she was struggling, and helped her out. But that's not what happened. So, like I said, keep at the end of the day, for a lot of women out here, if y'all don't understand what I'm saying, keep practicing and preaching that feminist logic, that independent logic, and more of your daughters are going to go the same way this young woman did.